Boy, look at that sexy beast right there. Not talking about you, Bobby. All right, so as we said in the last video, we're going to do our first product review. We are still here, Bobby Utek, owner of UDI, Utech Derby Industries, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we are going to talk about his newest line, TRANNY coolers. I don't know a whole lot about this stuff, so I'm going to let him kind of walk us through it. And how's business been?
It's it's been pretty good. I've been selling a lot of these units the last month and a half. I kind of think what kind of separates me apart from a lot of the other guys doing TRANNY coolers in the area are just kind of the price for a nice sound product. These right here, they're retailing for I'm getting $200 a piece for them. For the single coolers.
What are most coolers like that in the market?
Most coolers I'd say are right around the $230 to $270 mark, somewhere in there.
Okay.
And then when it comes to cooler size, I think mine are just as big as if not bigger than those same ones in that price range. For my single units. A little bit about them. So actually, I'll start with this one. It's kind of the bare amount.
Yeah, absolutely.
But from the start, it's just a basic box. It's designed to make sure the air flows down and through. The thing I like about them is I got the expanded metal facing to it. In the Derby, it really ain't protecting a whole lot when you got it mounted to your cage or anything like that. But what I added this for is, when you're in the shop, you set your cooler down in the shop. 9 times out of 10, I drop something and I forget where I put it and I run kicking it or something like that. Well, that just, protects the internal cooler.
That definitely makes sense.
It's just kind of nice little add-in.
Looks like fairly stout construction.
Oh yeah, it's nice. Everything's walled all the way through, sound steel. The way that these are designed to mount too would be off. I prefer to run mine on my shifter bar. Or I run C-channel. So just kind of mount right up through that, drill some holes, and it just kind of hangs right off your center bars where I run mine through. Moving up from there, between the internal cooler and the outside frame, I got foam padding, so the cooler is not laying exactly on the metal. It keeps a little bit of space in case something jars or anything like that. So you protect the internal cooler. Everything's washered, lock nutted. Moving up from there, once you get above the internal cooler, I got my mounting tabs for my fan. They're mounted to ensure that your fan blades don't come into your internal cooler. Which I had buddies in the past where coolers are mounted tight to the fans on other vendors' coolers, and it actually ended up slicing the internals and ran out of TRANNY fluid. So with these walled on secure mounting tabs with lock nuts on the inside, you're guaranteed where your fan isn't going to come into contact with the internal cooler. So with that, another thing too, a lot of guys ask me, why do you run cage mount coolers? And I had buddies in the past who would have floor mounts, and especially on full-size cars, cars are getting harder. They're bending crazier and crazier. So I've had buddies who actually had their floors buckle, and when it's mounted to the floor, end up breaking the internal coolers or the lines and run out of TRANNY fluid too. So I think the best way to run a cooler is just right off your shifter bar, or off your back seat bar, however you want to do it. If you want to weld the tabs to it, or if you want to drill some holes and make that happen.
Yeah, really anything that you see as being most successful in today's world is stuff that's floating.
Right.
Anything that you can put onto your cage that hopefully isn't going to move.
Right. I thought, I might come out with a floor-mounted type of cooler, but if I do that, it's going to have a big HD plate on the bottom, so you got the plate's probably going to be double the size of the cooler just so you can guarantee it, nothing's going to shift underneath it. But the trouble with that is, when I'm shipping something down to Arkansas or Pennsylvania, what's the shipping cost going to be just for a steel plate?
Holy cow, yeah.
Big,
Man, I send car parts all over the country. I couldn't imagine. Something like that's going to probably weigh 40 pounds. If you've got it, holy cow. Yeah, I couldn't imagine sending a steel plate that size.
Yeah, really with these units, my biggest thing is just making them affordable, because the reason I got into this was, I was on the market to get a new TRANNY cooler, and I just kind of started looking like, well, why don't I build my own? And once I thought about building my own, I kind of ran some prices, and I was like, I can build coolers that are, nice units and, be able to sell them and still make money. So, I thought that was pretty cool, so I got into doing this, and, business has been good. I've been moving a lot of product, all my shipping.
Selling out for the most part every time you get a batch, right?
Yeah, pretty much. My batches are sold pretty fast. Actually, right now, Ralph Legis out of Gray Area Derby Parts is down at Redneck Rumble selling them, you know, because he carries them and he makes the lines for them too, for guys that want lines with the coolers. You know, and I mean, I have a hard time keeping them in stock for him, you know, alone some of the guys in the area that want them, so that's always good news if you can't keep your product on the shelf. But aside from that, you know, a couple big things coming up with them this year is I do have my double units coming out. You know, I've been selling a few here and there, but I haven't been marketing them a whole lot just because I'm trying to perfect them the best I can. No really major issues, just kind of more how I'm having them set up, you know, with each other. You know, so that'll be something to watch out for. Coming out in the future too, I'm looking at bringing up a line of stainless steel fuel cells. You know, just because I'm making some for myself, you know, and looking at the numbers.
Well, if you're making something for yourself, you might as well, right?
Right.
And that's definitely something good to see. Obviously, business is going well, so hopefully we'll be able to see UDI come up with some new products, and we can put those on here too. So you have a Facebook page, right?
Yep, Facebook page. UTech Derby Industries is on Facebook.
I will put a link to that down below. So if you know somebody, share this video. I mean, I've known Bobby here for a while since I've got into the derby world. You want to support good people, and he does a hell of a job, and he wants to make sure that his customers are taken care of, and he won't put out a product that's bad. So share the video, click on the link below. If you're not a full-size guy, you know somebody that does, or I mean, you know, a lot of guys of the heavy mod mid-size cars are running these kind of things now too. If you know somebody that's going to be interested, that link will be down below. Shoot Bobby a message, and even if he's back ordered, he'll find a way to get something to you eventually. We do have an announcement for our page. Bobby wants to help out with getting our Mad Dog money a little bit of a boost here for the coming season. So we'll talk about that a little bit later in a different video. But overall, from what I can tell, I mean, this is a hell of a product. I mean, he's definitely thought of more than most guys probably would. So anything else that I missed?
No, you just kind of touched up on it. You know, stay tuned, you know, because I'm going to be giving back to the derby community. Hopefully, you know, this year donating right around $600 worth of Mad Dog money throughout the state of Wisconsin, you know, so.
That's pretty big. That's kind of after my heart right there, because you guys know that's something that we're planning on throwing around some money for putting on some damn good shows in Wisconsin this year. So we'll be involved, and I'm sure you'll probably see more of Bobby. And if nothing else, we'll cross him in the derby world as we're doing our walk-arounds and seeing some of your cars out there, hopefully, with some Mike Davis paint jobs on it.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have some stuff looking good. I think that's about it. If you have any questions for us, for Bobby, you can post them on the bottom also. I can make sure that I can get a hold of him, and we'll make sure that all your questions are answered. So, once again, this is something fairly new for us. So, there's a lot of products out there in the world. Some of them I like, some of them I don't. I won't endorse something that I think is a bad product, but if you have something that you'd like to see reviewed, if you have somebody that you know puts out a decent product, put a comment down below. Is this something you want to see more of? I don't do this for me. This is a headache. I just put a bunch of time into editing and putting videos up for you guys, so let me know what you want to see. If you want to see more of this kind of stuff, definitely let us know. So we appreciate you following along, as always.
Get goosed.